manuscript of work, and then they have an opportunity to share a portion of that with an audience, to practice exactly what it's like to be as nervous as I am right now, standing in front of people. That's why you see me doing a lot of fidgeting and so forth. That's how you get to it. Try this, do the hand. It'll actually work for you. And in addition to their reading their material, they each have a small component of complementary creativity, and each of them will explain what that is to go along with their actual written word. And we will begin with Ty Lasher, who Magdalia will introduce for us.
Didn't John give a great description of Friday afternoon? The blood, the sweat, the tears. All right. No, these two have been working really hard. And as a fiction professor, I do have to begin with a little story. So before I met Ty, I spent 3 semesters hearing about Ty. You haven't met Ty? Oh my God, you haven't met Ty? And I really thought that Ty was made up because there was so much of this going on. So finally, Ty is going to be in my fiction class this semester. First day of class, I go around, I'm following the attendance sheet, and somehow, through some quirk of the universe, I skip their name. And I go to John Halser's office, and I'm like, Ty Lasher is made up. You guys are joking. And who was in John's office? But Ty. And they did not miss the first day of class. That was my mistake. And they were wonderful to have in class because the level of description, the detail that you can get out of this brain when you really squeeze it, you know. And so John and I have been pushing both of these wonderful people to do their best work and then giving it back to them and saying, do better. And they have risen to that challenge. And I'm very, very sorry for the pain that we put you through. But I'm very proud to introduce Ty to read a story that they've been working on for a good portion of this semester. So Ty, get on up here.
Hi everybody, I'm Ty. Yes, I have been working on this story for quite a while, along with the music, which is what I've composed and put together, little snippets, 3 different ones I'll be playing as I read along. Yeah, and I'll just start off with the first song I wrote as just a sense of the story. They just go along.
Incapable of a decent, clean emotion. Incapable of a decent, clean emotion.
So, I'll be starting with the second scene. And in the first scene, we meet a main character, Lily Matthews, who lives in Ithaca, New York, has just finished middle school and is about to begin high school. She is celebrating her best friend's 15th birthday party and has decided to give her a letter letting her know that she would like to start a relationship with her best friend, who is named Caroline. She gives it to her at the end of the party as she leaves, and then does not hear anything back until the first day of high school, which is where we'll start with scene 2. The story is called Lily Matthews is a Romantic. 2 weeks have passed since Caroline's 15th birthday party. Neither of the two have spoken since. In those last 2 weeks of summer, a time typically seen as freedom, Lily trapped herself in a room. She felt her body becoming increasingly paralyzed as each day passed without a text, a direct message, or knock at the door from Caroline. As the first day of high school grew closer, Lily nearly drove herself insane, bouncing between terror and joy at the thought of seeing Caroline for the first time since. On the night before the first day of school, Lily's mother and father came into her room as she was sobbing. Her father carried an electric bass, and Lily wiped her eyes with an already damp sleeve. "We thought that starting high school was enough cause for a small gift," her mother said as she sat at the foot of Lily's twin-sized mattress. "This is way more than a small gift," Lily says, sitting up in her bed as her father hands her the instrument. It has a glossy hazel body with dark veins wisping. For the rest of the night, Lily finds peace of mind as she slowly presses down the thick coiled strings along the fretboard, pulling and releasing to create melodic vibrations. She does this until she can no longer keep her eyes open, and only then does she realize she has stopped crying and falls peacefully asleep. Lily wakes up with her instrument lying next to her. Pale morning light filters through thin, faded blue curtains covering her bedroom window. She gets dressed, fills her backpack, and files through the house with shallow breath and few words for either of her parents. Her mother drops her off at school with a hug over the center console of her Prius. At the end of 8th grade, Lily and all her graduating middle school classmates were taken on a tour of the high school. The hallways, which are more subdued and mature than those in the middle school, and the monotone colors of the tiled floor and ceiling and the solid red of the lockers. The classrooms now have maps and diagrams instead of posters encouraging kindness and creativity. Lily keeps this tour in mind as she heads towards the hallway where all the freshmen have their lockers, a wing of the school tucked in the back towards the track and the football field. When she turns the corner, she finds her classmates filling the large space with a metallic slamming of locker doors, yelling and whispering mixing together to a buzz. Her eyes bounce between looking for a locker, looking for Caroline, and trying not to find Caroline. The bell rings sooner than she expects, cueing an immediate response to get the notebook and folder she needs for her first class and rushing to the room number typed at the top of her schedule. As she walks back down the main hallway towards her chemistry class on the other side of the school, she suddenly feels a tap on her shoulder. "Lily?" She hears Caroline call her name from the small hallway she was passing, leading to the chorus and band room. She turns and finds Caroline standing alone against the wall, her chin down. Lily looks down the main hall towards her first class, then back to Caroline in the narrow hallway, and steps in with her. "Hi," is all Lily manages. They both look at each other, then down at their feet, then at each other, then away, down the hallway, or at the ceiling. "I read the letter, obviously," Caroline begins to say. "Obviously," Lily repeats with a short, pained laugh. Caroline stares at the floor silently. "So do you feel the same way about me?" Lily guards herself, ready for Caroline's response. "I do," Caroline says. Lily suddenly feels a knot loosen in her chest. "Why didn't you say anything?" "I didn't know what to say." "You feel the same way," Lily cuts off Caroline. "You could have just said that. You could have said anything." "I know. I should have said something," Caroline replies sheepishly. "I'm sorry." "Why do you look sad?" Lily asks, confused and overwhelmed. "Why do you look scared?" "You said you wanted to be in a relationship," Caroline says with a shaken voice. "So," Lily quickly replies, "don't you? You just said you feel the same way." "I do, but not about everything, I guess." "What do you mean?" Lily raises her voice. "I don't know, it's just..." Caroline struggles. "I've never been in a relationship before." "Neither have I," Lily says. "It's okay." "I don't even know what that means. The only relationship I've ever seen was my parents," Caroline explains. "It's scary, and we're just starting high school, and it's already stressful. That's why I wanted us to start together." "But we've always been together," Caroline replies right back. "You're my best friend." "It's not the same." "What do you mean?" Caroline cries. "You said you just feel the same way, so..." Lily takes a frustrated breath. "Either we're together in a relationship or not at all." "That's not fair," Caroline begs. "Well, it's up to you," Lily says, shaking her head but refusing to look at Caroline, who stares at her in horror. "If you really care about me..." Lily never finishes her sentence. Caroline turns and rushes out of the narrow hallway, leaving Lily alone. That's the end of scene 2, and scene 3 picks right up after. Immediately after her confrontation with Caroline, Lily runs further down the hallway on the verge of tears and finds privacy in the empty chorus room. She crashes onto the piano bench and slams her elbows on the black and white keys, creating a disorienting wave and buzz in the still room. One she doesn't notice is as she buries her eyes in the palms of her hands. She tries to stop the torrent of tears. "Josh?" A voice comes from the door, and Lily quickly looks back over her shoulder to see who it is. A boy named Joseph. He's always been in their grade, but Lily had never talked to him, one of those peripheral characters. But now he's a distraction, and even if she feels embarrassed, distraction feels good. "Oh, sorry," Joseph says. "I'm just looking for my lab partner. It's the first day of class, and he's already running off to his vape." Lily doesn't know what to say and is afraid to speak. "Are you okay?" Joseph asks, taking careful steps further into the room. "Yeah," Lily works out a reply, wiping her eyes with a cardigan sleeve. "It's nothing serious." She suddenly breaks out in tears again, because she wants it to be serious. She wants everyone to feel and understand the same pain she feels. "Oh, hey, it's okay," Joseph says, sitting down on the piano bench next to Lily and putting his hand on her shoulder. After she doesn't respond, Joseph feels the need to fill the silence. How about we go outside? You can get some fresh air. For the rest of first period, both Lily and Joseph skip their classes. Lily sits on the smooth ash-baked concrete of the faculty parking lot while Joseph paces back and forth. It quickly becomes apparent to Lily that Joseph likes to talk. In just 30 minutes of her listening to him introduce himself, she learns that he recently overcame a childhood fear of the Grinch, is proud of his natural talent for math, but he calls it mathematics, and lives in a large house a few miles outside of the city with his mother, father, grandmother, and brother. He wears blue jeans and a black t-shirt with a faded Harley-Davidson logo on the front. He has thick brown hair parted in the middle and tucked behind his ears, reaching the middle of the back of his neck. Above the frames of his glasses, which create windows for his blue eyes, his eyebrows rise in concern, then press down when the sun catches on his soft, pale face. Once the bell rings again, Lily stands in automatic response. "Do you have any study halls?" Joseph asks. "Yeah," Lily replies, turning towards the back door of the school. Joseph rushes ahead to open the door for her. "Fifth period," she says, stepping into the air-conditioned school hallway. "Oh, wow," Joseph says with a grin, letting the door shut behind him. "I have a study hall then, too." The next day, Lily meets Joseph in the same empty chorus room, then every day for the rest of that week, and then the next. And this time, Lily establishes a self-protecting routine, mapping out a way to travel from class to class without a glimpse of Caroline. In this process, fifth period becomes something to look forward to, a time where she sits at the piano bench and does nothing but listen to Joseph talk. Soon, Joseph very carefully asks for Lily's phone number. She contemplates saying no for a moment, but decides the conflict would be too much and that this could enable Joseph's distraction to be available 24/7. When at home, Lily keeps her bass strapped around her shoulder from the moment she walks through her bedroom door until she falls asleep. Some nights she answers when Joseph calls and throws the phone on her bed after hitting the speaker button, and pacing back and forth listening to his voice, she teaches herself rhythm as she creates bass lines to go with his speech pattern, which is often chaotic. Soon as the holidays and freshman year is halfway through, Lily, if she were counting, would have lost track of how many fifth period she had spent with Joseph. Joseph, who was counting, had lost track and was happier for it. Now it's the last day of school before winter break, and Lily sits once again on the piano bench, hovering her fingers as she decides which key she'd like to press, when suddenly Joseph stops his pacing and sits down next to her. He falls, unusually silent. Lily turns to him and locks in eye contact. His breath is shallow, and she's confused. He leans in slowly for a kiss, and she realizes it before he can reach her lips, yet Lily doesn't stop him. Her lips are still only for a moment until they work with his. She doesn't want Joseph to be her first kiss, but she quickly realizes something she hadn't expected. She enjoys kissing. Once they return from winter break, Joseph begins leaning in for a kiss every fifth period. Quickly, the naked branches outside fill with blossoms, and the days feel longer in the sun. By the time Joseph asks Lily to be his girlfriend, she was expectant. She closed her eyes only for a moment, and then said yes. And that's the end of scene 4, actually. No, 3. This is misnumbered. Doesn't matter. So I'll play the next song, and just sort of encompasses everything that happened in the past 3 scenes. Hopefully.
I want to talk to you.
Not now, Ed.
No, now. I want to talk to you.
Yes, that was scene 3 in the music to go along with the first 3 scenes. So now I'm going to be skipping ahead to scene 5. And in between what I just read and what happens now is basically Joseph decides, I want to be with Lily. Lily doesn't stop him, and that's just the beginning of the relationship suddenly, and she begins just finding safety in hiding herself in him, doesn't speak much, listens to whatever he says, and just follows him along without worrying much about herself. In this time, she also begins picking up a bass and begins learning how to play bass and starts building up some musical confidence with the bass and some confidence within herself at that same time. So this is scene 5. As junior year begins, Joseph starts working full-time at his father's side, and Lily goes to an open mic nearly every night. With each performance came more practice and preparation until Lily's music was no longer just a distraction, but a part of herself. Now each time she walks on stage with her bass, she feels that she belongs there. One night she recognizes someone from her school named Jordan who's in the grade below her. Jordan hops between the same cafes and bars that Lily does, but with a tan acoustic electric guitar. She's a dedicated singer-songwriter. One night, Lily builds enough courage to approach Jordan after a performance and tells her how inspiring her music is. Soon they go to each show together, then practice together, then finally start performing together. They both write lyrics, but Jordan is the only singer as Lily prefers to focus on her bass playing. At first, every practice is scheduled carefully at the same time Joseph is working, until Jordan and Lily meet Eric. He's the same age as Lily and just moved to Ithaca with his family. He very nervously compliments them after a show and finds both Lily and Jordan to be genuine and kind. They find out that he's homeschooled and plays the drums. He came to the open mic to see if he could fit his drum set on the stage, hoping to perform one night. Both Jordan and Lily see the same opportunity and take it, asking Eric to join their band, the first time either of them referred to their duo as a true band. Eric immediately says yes, and 3 of them begin working on a schedule for practice. Lily soon realizes that some of the days they plan to practice on are days usually spent with Joseph, but she says nothing about this to either Jordan or Eric, finding herself disassociating. The night Lily tells Joseph about her new band, he is distracted as they walk through the commons towards a local theater called Sunnamopolis. Junior year had just begun, and Joseph seemed to be getting more and more restless, with passive-aggressive lashes at Lily from time to time that she could typically ignore. "That sounds fun," is all he says, holding Lily's hand but always keeping 2 steps ahead. "It is, but I wanted to tell you I'll be busy Sundays and Mondays now," Lily says as quickly as she can. They turn down a narrow alleyway, between 2 brick buildings multiple stories high. At the end of the alleyway is the theater, which is attached to a multi-story parking garage. Joseph stops in the middle of the alleyway. "What's wrong?" asks Lily. "We always spend those days together," Joseph says, not looking angry but suspicious, which hurts Lily more. "Well, we can still see each other. It would just have to be before or after practice," Lily says, trying to keep a calm tone. "No problem." "Have to be?" Joseph mumbles. "What?" "Nothing," Joseph says. "Let's go. I like the previews they show here." Lily forgets each scene of the movie as it plays, either picking at the tears in her jeans or catching glimpses of Joseph's face, which looks cold in the projector light. After the movie ends, they both head to the same modest restaurant they always go to in the Commons, called Aroma Pizzeria. They sit silently at a small white